So yeah, vampires, that's always one for the books, especially when you think about Dracula, especially when you think about Nosferatu and the way that they have this poetic side about them and the way that they're charming, but they're also like leading you like lambs to the slaughter. To flip the page, there has been an uptick in the undead in zombie movies. This was from back in the day, from Night of the Living Dead, the black and white one. They're coming to get you, Barbara. To the one in color with Tony Todd that played Candyman. You've got 28 Days Later. You've got Train to Busan. You've got Dawn of the Dead. You've got the remake. Anything, Kevin, in any of these zombie ones, maybe we could start maybe 28 Days Later. How did you feel about any of that movie?
I thought it was good. It's getting a little hazy now since I saw it.
Okay.
But no, what I remember, it worked pretty well. I know that there were like multiple endings that they went through, but the one that I saw where there's a little bit of hope at the end that something's gonna happen, that someone's gonna come rescue them, that was appropriate because it's a pretty bleak movie. Especially with how that rage thing, developed and it got transmitted from the animals to the people, and how it just obliterated everything. So it was done very well from what I remember.
And a fresh take, like you said, with it not being the undead necessary, but more almost like rabies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or like the guy was saying, rage. Maybe that's the only sour note I felt about that presentation. But I mean, okay.
Yeah.
It was fine. I thought that was funny, but I'm supposed to be terrified, and I'm like, oh, that's ooh.
Yeah, it's like it sounds ludicrous,
It sounds like not scary, but yeah, it's good.
What did you feel about it
when that happens?
Right.
What did you feel about it, Peter?
Thought it was an excellent film. I'm always down for a good zombie flick, man.
Yes.
That movie could scar you if you were young enough or let it dwell on you. Especially how I believe he abandons his family.
Yeah,
like, I believe in the like what you actually jumped out the window because.
Oh, okay. You're talking about 28 weeks later.
Oh, okay, my bad.
But no, but that's right on it. You're absolutely right. Yeah, and that was in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that's what I remember that. So, real quick, 20. Was that the one? Oh man,
that was where it all started. Where the guy woke up in the hospital and then walked out and noticed that there was no one on the streets and walked all around town, and it was that long thing of him walking by himself. Then he finally went into like a church, and there were people looked like they were laying on the floor. And when he said something or made a noise, they all jumped and started running faster than I've ever seen zombies run before.
Man, let me tell you something. That's my biggest fear. Probably is the ones that can sprint. I mean, like the Resident Evil, the Walking Dead, zombies. But the ones that can sprint.
These are talking about
track stars,
Good gracious.
The scariest ones, man. Like,
yes.
I got to go back and rewatch that movie, the first one.
The first one, 28 Days.
Yeah.
What I appreciate about zombie movies really quickly is you take different people from different walks of life, you put them together in one close environment, and they have to deal with each other before they can even deal with what's going on outside of whatever shelter that they've taken. And usually they'll give you one person that's like the megalomaniac. They'll give you one person who's weak and who needs to be helped. They'll give you maybe a woman that's pregnant. They'll give you a young boy, and they'll give you a woman who was a police officer or something, and now she's, get those skills. And there's always someone in that group who winds up being just as bad, if not worse, than the zombies outside. And they'll wind up killing all people themselves, or they'll wind up pushing people in the line of, getting harmed. And so it's always good to see how horror affects a group of people who, if not for that incident, would have never even been around each other or had to lean on each other for survival. And so that goes over, you know, whether it's Night of the Living Dead, or whether it's 28 Days Later, or whether it's Train to Busan. If you all haven't checked out Train to Busan, it's on. Oh, you have.
Beautiful. I'm so glad I watched that movie, man, because that came out of it just like a, you know what I mean, around the corner. I was just, what is this about? Click, and it was Salute. That movie, they did a very well made.
Yes.
Very well made. Yes.
Yes. Make sure you check that one out, Kev, when you get a chance. We're gonna go into Boogeyman, and in particular, this is gonna be just two. That would be Freddy Krueger, and then we'll stop at Candyman Country. First of all, Freddy Krueger. The wildest part in the beginning, before the credits and all, or as they're going, is him fashioning this knife into this glove that becomes as iconic as he is, just as iconic as the old fedora and the Christmas sweater with the ratty holes and everything.
The Cliff Huxtable.
But the fact that the story starts off with Tina, and you think that Tina is the one that is going to be carrying the story, much like the young lady in Scream or in Psycho. And after she gets killed off, now Nancy has to come and carry the rest of the way. I didn't think that the remake was effective. It had a couple of things that were peppered out that I did appreciate, but you're not gonna beat Robert Englund.
Nah.
He was thin. He was crazy. You never seen a killer like that. He had the burns, from what happened and all that you found out later. How did you all feel about anything surrounding Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street?
I can only agree with what you said. That Robert Englund, he did it.
He was born for it.
He did it. That's him. That's him.
Yes.
Nobody else. I saw the first one. I feel the remake did not compare. Was kind of garbage. For multiple reasons that I feel like I've mentioned before, but maybe it's just because every time that movie comes up, I feel like sounding off about all the things I feel how it went wrong, and maybe that's why I'm like, have I said this? Have I said this too? Have I talked about
Tell him why you mad, son. Tell him why you mad.
Exactly. Have I talked about why does the kid start having visions of a past he was never involved in? You know what? Yeah, that's an episode all by itself. What I think about the remake. But I will say, and I think I have said before, what I appreciated about the original is that I started wondering, just like the main character, what is real in here and what is a dream? Is this real?
Right.
I don't know yet. We keep watching to find out. Done very well. That's the feeling that I remember from that movie, not being sure if this is a dream or not.
Right. What do you feel, Peter?
Man, that movie scared the crap out of me as a child, man.
You ain't the only one. I think we're all on that. Yes.
For a long time, I had a problem with looking at the logo for New Line Cinema. Oh, wow. When it would come up. I had a problem with that. Oh, wow. In the theater, because I thought it was going to be Nightmare on Elm Street. I was waiting. I thought we seen, what I mean, with whoever. But even the music to this day, when I listen to like the Fresh Prince joint, it sometimes like put me back, when I was a kid. Because even that scared me.
Yeah.
But that character, if you think about it, and I will say this to this day, that character, the conception and the the mere thought about that character is scary.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
He's going to come for the children, while they're dreaming.
Because the parents did something that then they didn't even turn around and prepare their kids for. Right, exactly. They just act like it didn't happen.
Facts, So the conception of that character is very scary. I'm gonna tell y'all this story real quick. I had like an experience with Freddy Krueger once when I was a kid. I fell asleep and I had a dream that he chased me through an abandoned building, and he got me in a room alone. And and he's coming closer and as it gets closer, I'm like, I'm shook. I'm like,
right.
I'm sweating and all that. And he takes his glove, and he pokes me right in my stomach. Mm-hmm. And I wake up. I wake up and I'm shook. It's like in the middle of the night, man. And I don't know why, but for some reason, my stomach actually where he poked me is hurting. Like It's literally, it's not a stomach ache. It wasn't like gas, no acid, like it's actually the muscle right where. You know what I mean?
Your mind drug it out and made it real. Exactly. Just like they started to do with the story with her first grabbing his hat. And when she woke up, it's in her hands.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was genius. I thought
the character was definitely dynamic. And you know, I mean, like, but Robert Englund was that character, man. And I think when the movie got, with the sequels and all that, then it became kind of sort of comical. You know what I mean?
He started to have something to say about everybody before he killed them. But the first two, like you were saying, the first one is like
the worst.
It's one. Brilliant. Yes. The best is the worst.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Part two, he was that same person.
Mm-hmm.
Creepy. You didn't want to even think about him. Dream Warriors was great because it put the power in the victim's hands and made them be one is a sorcerer, one is a knife wielding girl who can defend herself, another one who was in a wheelchair and now can walk again. And so I thought that was creative, but you're right, it started to lend itself to him giving more one-liners than he needed to. And so when you're talking about the boogeymen, just like, they've said about Michael Myers and they've said about Freddy Krueger, the last of which would be Tony Todd as Daniel Robitaille, Candyman. Mm-hmm. Now, I know we've been waiting for this discussion for a minute. And let me just say real quick, just a little something funny. You got to say Candyman's name 5 times in the mirror. So you got to basically ask him to kill you.
Pretty much.
This ain't like you bumped into him or, you were on his territory or whatever. You asked him for this. So what I say is, forget that. Go outside and ask one of them guys standing on your corner, one of them drug dealers, say his name 5 times. Or better yet, say it 3 times. What's up, Lil Earl? Yo, man, you better stop saying my name, man. Lil Earl. Yo, man, say my name one more time. Lil Earl. Bam! So, I mean, that movie was... It's just so many things that I can say about it. We definitely don't have enough time to go into just Candyman. But the way that Tony Todd played that role, the way that he gave you his pain, the way that he stamped himself not only as just a regular horror figure and an urban legend, but a Black figure, is something that resonates from east to west. You know what I'm saying? What did you feel about it, Kev?
So that whole thing of say his name 5 times to get killed, I think what happens in the movie, it's like a person says it and they might not believe it, but the legend is real and he will hop out and he will get you. Right. And that's, I think, the message, if there is a message. It's like the legend is real. Take it seriously. Yes. I think I mentioned before that in my community, out in real life, people would like dare each other to say Candyman. And I'm riding the bus. The girls, they'd have a compact in their hand, and they'd be daring each other to say the name 5 times in front of the compact. And so, to my community, the legend was real because nobody wanted to do it.
Right.
So that's a lesson that they took in my community.
Seriously,
I just think an example of how powerful that film was and how it resonated with everyday people. Right.
Yeah. What about you, Peter?
I'd rather say Beetlejuice 3 times, man. I ain't messing with that. Nah, it ain't going.
Man.
You can fan of Beetlejuice, man. You know what I mean? But Candyman, nah, man. But why? I think I asked my cousin that one time. Why was his name Candyman? Because of the honey? Because of the bees? And
I guess so. I might even lend to say that it could have been a name that started as a nickname. You know how people in the hood might put a moniker on something to make it sound that more cool, or to make it sound just to be something that they can deal with. Just putting a name on it. I think that with the whole thing about, like you said, the bees and the honey, and then the fact of, which I don't know what this had to do with it, about going into his lair and crawling out through the hole in the wall that was his face and like his mouth. And then the first thing that she sees on the ground is pieces of candy with razors in them. So I think it has something to do with the innocence of children. And in particular, things like trick or treat and stuff like that. But how you can take that innocence and put it into this figure that is larger than life and who died a horrible death at the hands of, the people who he now haunts. And it's around that same area, I guess, where Cabrini Green, they were saying, was built, was, in around that time, the slave quarters or whatever. So it's some metaphor in there that I'm sure is probably lost about the innocence of children, and how at times I think he said something about the innocent and how he speaks for the innocents, or he is the voice of the innocents. And I also think that just in any horror, not just what we're talking about now, but just in general, you have to establish innocence in a film before you can make it scary. Because you have to figure what's being put on the line.
Right.
At first, when you see that person who doesn't know anything about it, and in the case, the woman who is going and doing this course, or just someone who is sitting at home, or someone who doesn't know about what's going to follow them later on in life, you have to show that they are innocent. You have to show that they are weak. You have to show that they are just like any one of us. And it makes it that much more effective when they have to beat the odds somehow.
Makes it more relatable. I get you.
Yeah. So parts of it were the music, I'm getting goosebumps right now.
For me, it was his voice. Oh my God.
His voice was the first thing you heard in the movie. Name another movie, either one of you, where the killer's voice is the first thing that you hear. Yeah, what do they say? They say I've shed innocent blood. What's blood for if not for shedding? I hook for a hand, I'll slit you from your groin to your gullet. I've come for you.
He had bars, which was also scary. Because when you just saying that puts me back right to where that's not cool. But he had bars. He had bars, man. And he made you feel it. He made you feel the fear that was coming, from that screen.
Definitely.
If you could watch it with like a system with some bass in it,
right?
To scare the hell out of you, man.
It gets you, man. It gets you, man. Well, how about real quick, haunted house movies? Your Poltergeist, your Amityville, The Conjuring, The Shining, The Others, Paranormal Activity. Start us off down whichever path you choose, Kev.
Well, I own The Others. That was
I do too.
I had like a set of like 3 ghost movies.
Okay.
If I say the other 2, it'll spoil them, but they're all like 20 years old.
Okay.
I thought Others was really, really good.
Yes.
Didn't see the twist coming. Nicole
neither.
Kidman was fantastic. I thought it was great. So I really enjoyed it. I saw Paranormal Activity. It was pretty good. Didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. What with the whole found footage thing? Because the question in so many of these movies is like, are you ever gonna put that camera down?
Right.
Ever gonna put the camera down?
It's Velcro to your hand, it's like you can't.
And then sometimes the angle looks like something that was professionally shot.
That's true.
Okay, it didn't bug me that much.
Yeah.
So not too bad. And speaking of haunted houses, there's a series on Netflix, The Haunting of, I think, Hill House.
It's the new one, the Bly Manor or something like that.
Bly Manor is like a follow-up. So I haven't seen that yet. The Haunting of Hill House was pretty good.
Yeah, it really was.
Pretty good. That was very effective, very well done. Everybody acting was great. So some of those things I really did appreciate.
How did you feel about Paranormal, Peter?
There was some scenes in it that had me a little shook. One of the ones where, well, it was situations as well. I mean, how do you date somebody, and you not divulge that information?
Yeah, true. Right. Your past and something,
that could be scary. I mean, like, what do you mean that was your past?
Right. I want to know that. Exactly. I don't need to be with you.
Should have brought that up in counseling.
Exactly.
This isn't working for me. Honesty.
I'm gonna go now.
Yeah. There was. Yeah, it had its moments. What was it? One of the ones was in the attic, where a picture of her was up there.
Yeah.
And then
it was burnt.
And then he puts the powder down, and you saw like I guess it was a demon, so it didn't have
but it's supposed to be footprints or whatever it was.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I know I made it to other people that scene probably, man, look like a dinosaur or something. I think that was kind of relatable because when you just said the genre of like haunted homes, everybody can kind of relate to that. Yeah. In the sense that you're hearing noises, and so we've all had strange things happen when we're home alone.
Sure.
So I think that was a connection with the audience. I mean, I had experiences, that now as a grown man, you say, okay, before you freak out, let's think about this logic.
Try to think rationally, yes.
Exactly. Yes. You know what I mean? So that's what puts, separates us from like kids. But sometimes it gets the best of you. But I thought the Paranormal Activity, it had its moments. I would say that like it's it was a good film, but it had
definitely. I saw it in the theater once again by myself, and the biggest thing, real quick, was the tagline was something like "What happens at night while you're sleeping?" And so they show you the daytime, and they show him purchase a camera, and he's they're starting to say that things are happening weird in the house. Then it's nighttime. And you get through that first night with nothing happening. Then it's another day scene and everything's going on, and now it's nighttime again. And what I noticed was every time nighttime would happen, my tension, my dread would ramp up a little bit. And so by the fourth or fifth night, you had me. I was to the point, just like everybody else in the audience, where we started to get quiet when the sun started to go down, because you knew that night was going to be worse than the previous.
Right, yeah.
When you do something like that, when you establish that dread early on, and you do live up to it, and you don't change the rules and you don't shortcome it, you've already got us. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But then you have Poltergeist, where it's Tobe Hooper and Steven Spielberg, and you have The Conjuring, which The Conjuring quickly became in my top 10, if not higher than 10.
Yeah.
The second one was very good, but you could see the difference in the second one having much more money, and the story kind of gets so big that it just kind of bubbles over. But the first one was craftsmanship by James Wan that put him on the map. And if not for Insidious, which was the other thing,
I was going to say that.
Right.
Yeah.
He had his hands in both, but yeah. But
I know that the character, the father in it, he was getting that money because he was. I don't know I don't know his name. But he played.
And he was in Aquaman. He played he played Momoa's brother. Yeah, he's a great actor.
He really is. He's believable. Cat. He was getting that money from James because he was in both movies,
left and right,
with the whole Warren character. Which I've always, it's crazy to talk about that real quick. And like, I don't know the first movie that actually had the. I kind of missed the '90s for the presentation of movies. Like,
yes.
you know, it's in 1975. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then for somebody to say based on a true story, you know what I'm saying? Or
that gets you. That gets you.
That was the one that used to get people right there. You know what I mean? Because it's like, wait a minute, wait. This is a horror movie that was
like this really happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it definitely pulled you in. But I don't like nowadays, man. It's just it looks to be everything has been done. It looks to be because it's constant remakes upon reboots.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? But the whole haunted house gender or genre, it's definitely relatable in my opinion because everybody's been there. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's there
at some point or another, you know. Definitely. Yes. Let's turn the tables a little bit and we're gonna have a little bit of fun. We're gonna go around almost like in like a circle, and I'll start it off and we're gonna just throw out things about what to not do in a horror setting or environment. And I started off by saying you need to already know how to run. Don't let no little sticks on the ground, and don't let your own feet let you trip over yourself. So I guess the what not to do is not to be falling all around, moving slow, and letting the killer keep up to you when he's just walking calm, because you're like slapstick. Take it next, Kev. What not to do in a horror movie setting?
See, that stuff is so played out now that you've got like car insurance commercials making fun of, running away.
Right.
It's like the teenagers it's at night. There's a killer on the loose. They're like, let's go hide behind those chainsaws. Right. And the one girl is like, but what about the running car right over there? And they look at her like she crazy because. I don't know. I guess it's a thing. It has become a thing where the characters are kind of just dumb and they don't act like any normal person. But then they're also usually not written that well anyway, so they're expendable and you don't really care about them that much.
Right.
So they're not developed well enough to even have a motivation other than just be killed like lambs to the slaughter.
Right.
So
exactly.
I would say, if probably in line with what you just said, if you've seen Escape Route, take it. But maybe then maybe the thinking is there wouldn't be much of a movie if everybody had the sense to roll.
Yes.
Stuff goes down, roll out. Maybe there's not much of a movie left, which maybe is pointing to a weakness in the presentation in general. And that means it's overdue for more movies like Scream, where you have people who actually can think, even though they still gonna all get killed off. They can think and they're not ridiculous.
Right, exactly. Peter, either what not to do in a horror setting or what to do in a horror setting.
I want to go with what not to do. Keep your mouth shut. Like you ever know, like in certain situations, it's like, why are you that loud? Like, why? Okay. Like, stop screaming people names. I mean, obviously, if you don't see them no more, they're dead. I mean,
right, Blair Witch, Joshua, you tell me where you are.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, shut up. You just ringing a dinner bell, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Shut up.
Oh my gosh!
As far as that's I think, see, Kev, man, he just took the words right out of my mouth. As far as horror movies would not be believable or they just wouldn't exist if like people thought rationally, like you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I think we all had a discussion earlier about or on previous episodes of this about how putting black people in situations is black horror movies. Like, would it really be one? You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, like those kids out in the woods. Why be in the woods? You know what I'm saying? Like, or like they were in an abandoned building in the basement playing with a Ouija board. First of all, hold on.
For
you know
what?
I mean?
How do you even get your hands on a Ouija board? I don't even know where to buy one if I could. You know what I mean?
Like, it's just certain. It's like that's why it has to be great writing to put people in situations.
Yeah.
Like the
make
whole,
it believable.
Facts. Like the whole invitation thing, like what is it, like House on Haunted Hill or something like that. You know, where they invite you to, I think that was the movie, I forgot what it was, but it was like an invitation and you went and it's like, okay, well, we don't know what it's about, everybody, you know, and then you come to find out you're in a messed situation. It has to be something that's believable to get you to that place. Like that's like what I always say when people ask me, "What would you do?" I say, I wouldn't be in a situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I wouldn't. I mean, your mind, you know, realistically, you know, you wouldn't be in a situation like
that's true.
That's true. Just wouldn't be there. Like I wouldn't be in a cornfield or you know. I'm not going. You know
that's
what I mean?
That's just what. That just to build off of you is like, I'm gonna put it blunt. It's like these movies teach us as Black people what and what not to do, so that if you see that situation coming a mile away, you ain't gonna be there. Right. Hey, Mr. Holloman, would you like to purchase this house on the top of that hill over there? It's only gonna be $10,000.
Right.
It's a 4-story.
Right.
And you can move it immediately. We don't have to talk to any realtor or anything.
Right.
No. Mr. Holloman, if you want to, we're gonna have this little camping thing, and you know, we're gonna go out into the woods. We're gonna be, you know, make some s'mores, and have a good time. What do you think?
Oh boy.
Yeah,
no.
man.
No.
I don't know one person that would actually, you know, would obtain a residence with prior murdering.
Right.
I don't see that realistically. Like, okay, well, how much is it? It's dirt cheap. Why is that? It was a couple murders in there. Like, what? You know
Deuces. Peace.
I just wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do that.
The one that I would have to say is, when I'm getting away from whoever the boogeyman is, and I'm heading towards the car, while I'm running and screaming and doing whatever else, I'm also picking through my key ring to find which key is the car key, so that I get in that door seamlessly and start that car. And it ain't gonna be no mess about my car's out of gas, or now all of a sudden the battery is off or whatever. My car's working fine before I got into this. It's going with me when I leave. I ain't playing it.
Right.
Cam, take us around maybe one more time. What either to do or not to do in any horror situation?
What to do? Maintain situational awareness. I mean, it's hard to do at night because it's dark.
Yeah.
But you got these shots where you like, oh, you know he gonna get it. You know she gonna get it because someone's alone. It's got this nice tracking shot. And you're not paying attention to your surroundings. You're running around silly, and then you're isolated.
Yes.
You know, it's. I mean, I think things like, you know, Scooby-Doo would teach us better. you know, be in the group, have a buddy.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Watch your back. Watch your six. I mean, those kinds of things might help.
Oh man, oh, you got it, man, you got it. give us one more to take it home on this chapter, Peter. What to do or not to do?
I don't know, man. You put me on spot. Pick better friends. I don't know.
Oh, Peter's ones are direct.
I mean,
make better life choices.
Right. He's like, I ain't hanging with y'all jokers. Man.
Like, I mean, like a lot of situations, I don't know. You look at horror movies, it's like, you know, people they lead you to death, man. You know what I mean? Or like, situations, you know. I don't know.
Okay, we're going to slip into one of the last parts of this. It's been a wonderful discussion. This is going to be a Q&A. We're going to go around really quick. To start off, we'll start off with Kevin, then go to Peter, and then go about it that way. Kev, which would you prefer and why? Blood, guts, and gore, or psychological horror?
Psychological horror.
Okay.
Yeah. Do I have to explain that?
Not necessarily.
I mean, yeah, the psychological horror is the kind of thing that I prefer. Yeah, because I mean, the blood and guts, and as it's probably meant to, it'll gross you out. I have to remind myself, okay, this isn't real. But now things, technology, special effects are getting better and better, so it looks even more and more real, and that's like kind of stuff that's going to stay with me and keep me up. I don't really want to be kept up all night.
Right. You don't want to be eating. Yeah. You don't want to be eating and have to put that to the side because
I don't want to be thinking
eyeballs
about
come out.
Yeah, I don't want to be thinking about stuff that's going to prevent me from going to sleep because I gotta work in the morning. I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to be effective on this job, and if I can't even focus on my job because I'm thinking about eyeballs and guts and stuff, how I'm gonna do it? Now, the psychological thing, of course, that's a different thing. It's mental, so that might be even deeper. But I do prefer the psychological to the blood, guts, and gore.
Peter, same question. I believe you answered it earlier, but if you want to go into the detail, you can.
Yeah, it's gotta be psychological, man. I don't know, people who like the whole blood and guts thing. They need a psychiatric. It's like
something wrong, right?
Seriously, like when you look at those blood and guts situations, it's like somebody wrote that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like is the boogeyman about somebody or you?
Right, exactly. Like, where did you get this concept?
Facts. So I think psychological, definitely.
I'm gonna say the same thing about psychological. Next question, Kev, what is your favorite horror film and why?
That would be The Witch. So it didn't scare me so much as fill me with dread. It made me feel really bad for how the family was fine at the beginning and broke all the way down
slowly but surely
by the end, and that was even mirrored in how Anya Taylor-Joy's costuming, how that changed, how her hair got a little more free, the more toward the devil she became. Even that just mirrored her progression. As the family broke down, she eventually became this witch. Just how it worked on everybody's mind in a different way, how everybody got torn apart. Dad, mom, the kids. Unfortunately, the baby was sacrificed. Very powerful. And I do watch it again and again from time to time because it's that good.
Gotcha. Same question, Peter. What is your favorite horror film and why?
Kevin, that was a weird movie, by the way.
It was.
Really weird and scary. But okay,
definitely.
I'm gonna go with a classic, not because it's a classic book, but it's because of it stood the test of time. You can't beat it. It's gonna be The Exorcist. Hands down, the you cannot, to this day, when you watch that movie is, in my opinion, as relevant today as it was in the 1970s when it came out.
Yes.
The reason why I think that is because of the fact that I would like to say that the majority of the people on this planet Earth do believe in a good versus evil, and I want to say that they do believe in a negative entity. You can call him Satan or whatever they want to call him, but I call him Satan. And that there has to be, a God, so that hits home to, in my opinion, like I said, to a little bit everybody, or more, or the majority of the people.